6:30, and we're going to start on time, and we'll end when we end. So it's good to see everybody. What a good turnout. And as I just mentioned, we got a sign-in sheet that I'd like you to sign your names or print your name, however you want to do it, and your class, the year you graduated. We've got a couple of special guests tonight that I'm excited for you to meet. But we also have a little business to take care of before we introduce Mr. Carr and Officer Spivey to you. So we'll get started, and we'll do that with the reading of the minutes. And I want to thank Arilla Gullins for doing the minutes at the October meeting. It seems like a long time ago that we last were together. So you may not remember all that's in these minutes, but Amy, who was ill that evening, so Arilla filled in for her very nicely. We appreciate you, Arilla. And Amy, if you would, go right ahead.
I sure would. This was October 18th, 2022. David Wright called the meeting to order at 6:30. He stated this will be our final meeting of the year. No meeting will be held in November or December. Our next meeting will be January 17th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Andy Carr, Beech Grove High School principal, will be at our January meeting to speak. He read the September minutes since Amy was unable to attend, and minutes were approved and seconded. Reports. The treasurer's report showed the following amount in the bank. The balance was $11,286.88. The scholarship report showed the following amounts. $57,715 was the started balance, plus $50 deposited, making the ending balance of $57,765. Homecoming report, no parade this year. All was set up successfully for the tailgate party with a good turnout. Janice King, the president of the school board, indicated that the student council was in charge of the event and they had no idea there was supposed to be a parade. One of the teachers dropped out at the planning committee and therefore no one was available to help the students create the event. Next year it will be taken back over by the high school and would appreciate the help from the alumni next year. David indicated he would begin posting more information on our Facebook page as events come up and ask for volunteers to help the school system. Cookie reported November 1st is the deadline for nominations for the Alumnus and Teacher of the Year. Decade and class reps need to get address updates to Tom Moriarty as soon as possible. Decade chairs or class reps need to get class decade information to Cookie for the newsletter by January 1. Newsletter is published in March. Donna reported that the current class mailing lists are in the process of being distributed to class reps, and any corrections need to be sent to Tom or her. Kay is trying to get information out to students about the alumni scholarship applications. Another note, Janice noted that she would get a hold of Mitzi Garman to have the application as well as a cover letter put on the Beech Grove High School website. Kay or David would provide the letter and application to Janice. David talked about the upcoming 2023 alumni banquet. Locations for the banquet were discussed at last month's meeting. A suggestion was made to consider having the event on Main Street next to O'Gara's. Andy Carr had indicated that the association could use the buses if necessary to transport attendees that could not walk a far distance from the car. Additional parking would be created at Central on 10th and Main. Richard made the motion to move the venue to the event center pending the cost, and it was seconded. The motion was carried. David informed us about trunk or treat on October 27th at the high school. The Alumni Association had approved to donate $500 for pumpkin purchase of the event. Andy Carr had asked for volunteers to help with the pumpkin disbursement. Richard told everyone about the BG vs. Greenfield basketball game involving the Matt English Traveling Trophy on November 22nd. Asked if we could possibly get a fan bus for the event. We did learn that adults cannot travel to school events on the bus. It is only for students. Donna Roller spoke to Ryan Morgan, the Beech Grove Middle School principal. He had asked if the Alumni Association would be willing to purchase T-shirts to reward his students for various accomplishments. Prior to the Alumni Association being able to participate, Dr. Hammock must approve. The class of 1967 took a tour of the middle school to see all of the improvements that had been made to the building. Many had not been in the building since they had been there in high school. Kathy commented that the building looked wonderful, and Mr. Morgan gave all of them shirts. Bob Thomas informed everyone that on October 3rd, a proclamation was read in honor of David Wright, and October 4th was David Wright Day in Beech Grove. David also received a Sagamore of the Wabash plaque from Governor Holcomb. Donna informed everyone that the monthly breakfast will be moving from Dale's Restaurant since they are closing. Breakfast is always held the last Saturday of the month, and a new location will be determined by January 1st. Janice mentioned that the school is still looking for bus drivers. If anyone knew of someone looking for a part-time job, if so, please call Tom Gerhart at the administration office. David asked if there were any other business. Sharon made a motion to adjourn the meeting, and Kay seconded. The meeting was adjourned at 7:25 p.m.
Thanks, Amy. You've heard the minutes. All those in favor, could I get a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes as read.
Okay, George Hensley has made a motion. Could I get a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It is approved. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Arilla. Nice job. Much better than you thought. Great job. Before we get into other business, I'd like to invite Principal Carr to come on up and join us up here. He's going to just give us a few updates regarding the high school. And I got to tell you, I've talked to Andy over the last few months via email, and on Friday he and I had a chance to meet. We met with a couple of other administrators and also a couple of students. And I got to tell you, I'm just so proud of this young man. And I'm so glad you joined us tonight. I look forward to hearing what you have to say.
I appreciate it. Big thank you to everyone. Thank you to Mr. Wright for coming in this past week and sitting down and chatting with us. We also have Mr. Jordan Madry, he's one of our students, with us here this evening. He will be an official BG alum in May 27th. Mr. Madry is a senior, and he is entering, he is enlisted in the Army, and he is the model student of what we strive to build here at Beech Grove High School. Jordan sat in with myself and Mr. Wright and a freshman by the name of Jalen Bullington, as well as Mr. Harris, who's a Beech Grove alumni as well. Some of you guys may have seen the picture on Facebook that we shared out, and it was also with another Beech Grove alumni, Ryan Williams. And as staged as that picture may have looked, it was completely not. I had no anticipation of Ryan Williams or Ethan Harris joining that meeting. It was Mr. Wright, myself, Jordan, and a ninth grader. And then Mr. Harris, you have to just mention the word alumni, and Mr. Harris is involved. And he came in, and then Ryan Williams came in and sat down, and I just thought, how serendipitous. We have, Mr. Wright, who head of the Beech Grove Alumni Association. We have a future alumni very soon, sitting with two other alumni, as along with the ninth grader. And so it literally was just kind of like picture perfect. Here's this, what we can kind of build and put together. And I greatly, wholeheartedly appreciate the support that I get from the Alumni Association. When I originally, I think I talked about the pumpkin patch briefly to Janice at a board meeting, and she said, you should talk to the Alumni Association. And an email was all it took, and you guys jumped on that, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you were here that evening, we gave out just a little over 300 pumpkins that evening to kids, and that kind of epiphany came, and I won't be too long-winded, I promise. As I was sitting in Sam's Club with my own children Sunday morning, and my son, who's 10 at the time, asked to go to the pumpkin patch, and I said, no, we've been there, we've done that. We're not doing the $30 pumpkins. We're going to Aldi's. They're $2.50 at Aldi's. We'll get that one. I have 4 children, so anything I do is times 4. And then I began thinking how many of our Beech Grove, not our high schoolers, but how many of our Beech Grove, our younger students, don't get the opportunity to experience something like that. And I immediately texted Aaron Probus at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and I said, hey, I want to put together a pumpkin patch for the Hornet Park kids, and we'll find a way to make them read or do whatever to come get a pumpkin. And you guys jumped on that, and I really appreciate it. It was really kind of the icing on the cake. So I greatly appreciate the support from the Alumni Association. As you can imagine, we have nearly 1,000 kids in the building and pushing 80 staff members, and running this place. I can't do it on my own. Absolutely not. And so I'm more than aware that it's going to take a lot more than me. So your guys' support is greatly appreciated. When I reached out to David, it's probably been a couple weeks ago, about kind of what we chatted about. In our last meeting, it was primarily trying to get some support with the Alumni Hall of Fame. Randy Clevenger was just absolutely religious about the Alumni Hall of Fame and making sure that we never missed a beat. I came in, took over for Randy, kept it going as best as I could. The list of names that Randy provided me were, I was having a hard time reaching out, getting a hold of people. And so I had to try to revamp the process. Then COVID hit, and then the brakes were put on everything. And so I initially reached out to David to see, if the Alumni Association would like to have some sort of involvement in that Hall of Fame, because it just seems very logical that you guys have a voice in that and not myself and my assistant principal who are behind in my office trying to pick a name, right? So I really wanted to kind of increase the legitimacy of it and to really help get the ball rolling again. So that was our initial conversation that I had with David. So that's kind of one big project that we are looking to kind of get an assist on. Because the conversation I had with him is I want to reward and acknowledge the contributions that alumni have made, post-secondary, like after they've left this place. But the very selfish part of me that wants to get it going is because it makes it much easier for me to communicate to our students what they can do and what they can become if they're walking down the halls and they see a picture of, David Wright, and they ask me, well, who's that guy? And I say, let me tell you about him. Let me tell you some of the great things that he's done, and he walked the same hallways you walked. So very selfishly, it's something that we can use to help motivate our kids. So that was the one project that we'd kind of talked about. And then Jordan, he doesn't need much motivation in terms of getting the ball rolling for helping out kids at the high school as well as at other schools. Jordan is very involved in the community, does a lot of community projects. He can do a much better job of kind of briefing you on the conversation that he had with Mr. Wright and kind of what he does.
Oh, well, good afternoon. Can you hear me? My name is Jordan Madry. I'm a senior. A little background. I'm 18. And also I got invited to a meeting. Was it Friday? Mm-hmm. It was Friday. So we have a classroom called Human Services with Ryan Williams. He's our teacher. And we started many hands-on projects for our community. You ever heard of the Beach Grove Block Party we had at the school? We had that for my classroom. We had the Beach Grove Block Party. It was the Hunter House we did for trunk or treat at the school. We also did Thanksgiving dinner for the teachers. We also did, we raised $1,200, and I say 4 days, for the elderly at the Beach Grove Meadows. It was adopted grandparent for Christmas. It was a whole class decision, and we raised all that money within like 4 days. We went to Walmart, we went on a field trip, and bought all that stuff for them. Now, we have another project that's coming up. It's a really, really big one. And I want to get everybody involved, especially the alumni. The project is the Riley Dance Marathon. It's a big event where you raise a certain sum of money and you dance until somebody drops. It's 24-hour event, but we're not doing 24 hours till we drop. We're doing a couple hours, and whoever drops. But our goal, they did it a couple years back before COVID. I don't remember what year, but they raised $16,000 for Raleigh Hospital. We want to beat that. We want to set a new goal. So our goal now is $20,000, and we want to raise that by May 19th. That's when we're gonna have the Riley Dance Marathon. And so we signed little jobs to everybody in my classroom. I had three roles. I was project leader, the communications, entertainment. I have 4, and alumni relations. So this is doing my job right here. My job was to ask if I can ask for your support for your promotions, for your donations or anything. I want to get the word out. I want to get to everybody involved because I want to help these kids out. Like seriously want to help these kids out, just not for this project. I really love this idea because I love to help out my community. I'm not selfish, Sometimes I can be, depends on my food. But like, I'm not really I like to help the people in my community. I honestly do this. I don't look for nothing in return. I really don't ask for nothing in return. It's just not what I am. I like to help. So all this information, I'm gonna have my class email. We're gonna make a whole little email about it, because I don't want to do all the work, because it's a whole class project. So we're gonna make an email. We're gonna send it to. I'm gonna want it to send it to everyone here. That I can probably do like a general big email. I just want to educate y'all on it and not educate. I'm sorry. Introduce y'all to the project we are doing and get y'all hooked on it, possibly. Yeah. So that's.
We don't have to dance, do we?
If you don't want to, if you want to, you get out there. Either
you can people watch.
People watch. That'd be great. That'd be great.
We're good at people watching.
Yeah. Me too. But I'm gonna get out there and dance. I got a couple connections. I got the military involved. I got the admins involved, like the superintendent, Miss Mitzi, Dr. Yeah, all the doctors. Okay, I like names. Names I'm not good at, but we got all of them involved. They all on board. So I'm asking y'all if y'all can get involved with me too. That's all I gotta say. Thank
Can you
you.
repeat the date?
I'll be May 19th.
Okay.
May 19th.
Yeah.
Let me see if I'll-
Alumni encouraged to come as well, so
Please.
it's not this is
Where will it be?
It will be at the school.
in the gym.
Yep, in the gym, in the main gym. It's gonna be Beach Grove exclusive. Nobody from the outside can come, because you don't want to make it.
Yes. It's not-
We're gonna have security there, of course, and we're gonna have some a lot of people there, and we're gonna try to invite all the Riley kids we can.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
I don't want to take away so you guys aren't done, but this event has been going on, it's over 30, 40 years. It's for the Riley Children's Hospital, and it's a part of the Children's Miracle Network that is nationwide, that helps children's hospitals all over the United States. And 100% of the money raised goes to the hospital for care for kids. None of it is administrative, it all goes to the kids. And so I would encourage us all, and I'll be glad to put some information together, and whatever Jordan gives me, we'll get it out to you. But I think it's a great thing, and I appreciate you. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. I was a little nervous at first. I was a little nervous. I came a little late because I couldn't find a room. I went to the conference room in the HEA room. I'm like, oh, where they at? I appreciate it.
Yeah, so just kind of piggyback what Jordan said, that any support we can get. This is big work that we do literally on a daily basis. We're here supporting kids both in Beech Grove and clearly out of Beech Grove. And we definitely appreciate your guys' support and want to continue to rely on you guys as a resource. Part of what I'd also like to do is begin kind of revamping, and I briefly talked with David about this, looking at opportunities that we have for our kids, our graduating seniors, and Jordan would be a great spokesman. Not to give you any more jobs because you have enough. He's also involved in athletics and all kinds of other things as well. He just finished wrestling practice and came here. But giving you guys access, so May, don't hold me to the date, 26th. You might not want to type 26, so I'll have to confirm.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 26th. We will have our graduation practice here at the high school. And what I would like to do is to try to find a way to give you guys a platform, 15, 20 minutes with the entire graduating senior class. And I thought it'd be really, really great to be able to, I don't know, you guys know your kind of rules and laws a lot better than I do, but find some sort of way that we could induct all of them into the Beech Grove Alumni Association, like right there while I have, because
Great idea.
because
Great
once graduation hits, as you all know, everybody goes in a million different directions and it's hard to chase them all down. So I will have that opportunity where we will have all 200 or so kids because they can't come to graduation if they don't come to practice. So they'll be there. And so it's a day we'll also have our senior activity day that day. So we'll do things like our senior cookout. I've canceled Powder Puff. We're not doing Powder Puff.
What?
Sorry.
Everybody wanted to do it.
We're not doing it. Kids aren't conditioned for it. We had kids falling out last year. They're just not the heat. So maybe we'll do some tug of war or something. But it's a senior activity day. And so we'll have all of our seniors, 100% of them right there. So just be thinking about ways that we can pack them all in the auditorium, give you guys a platform, give them the paperwork right there, fill it out, complete it, and that way we get them before they leave. So just some things to noodle around. So thank you all for your time. Is there any,
Any questions?
questions?
I mean this as a compliment. I thought you were a high school student.
Boy, thank you. I've been married with a mortgage for 20 years.
No way.
I'll be-
He just barely got a kid older than I am.
Yeah. I'll be 40 in May.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness. You don't look it.
Married with 4 children for almost 20 years. So. Yeah. She'd probably say that too. My wife.
No, I saw it over there. And I
So
said,
I'll take it. Thank you.
disappointed.
Yeah.
A year ago, I'm in the front of the office, and I look into the vice principal's office, and I said to myself, back in our day, they never let a kid sit in a chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be 65 or older.
Yep. I got my Social Security statement at 23. So I've been doing it a while, working a long time. Yeah.
That's great.
So I've lived in and around Beech Grove my entire life. I've lived in, as a kid at least, every apartment complex in Beech Grove, except for Parkview. That's because I was about 18 when they built that. I went to Central Elementary in 2nd grade, and I went to South Grove in 4th, and then IPS in 3rd, and Warren and Perry, and I was in 13 schools by the time I graduated high school. And I went to Southport for 4 years. So there were some years I went to 3 schools in 1 year. We very similar to a lot of our kids here. I grew up in a high level of poverty. We were very transient. Like it wasn't uncommon for my mom to hand me trash bags and say, "Put your clothes in it. We got to go." We lived in the hotels here in Beech Grove as a youngster. So I've been around quite a bit, but it's always been like Beech Grove is kind of the place where I've always and I only live maybe 10 minutes from Beech Grove. Yeah, it's kind of always been the place I've meandered back to for what that means. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
This is actually my 2nd year at the school. I joined it last year. I used to go to a school called Lighthouse South or Victory College Prep. I have the same, a similar story to Carr. I went to at least, I say, 8 different elementaries before I even came to one. I never stayed at a school for the whole 4 years, never, or a whole 5 years. So I live far from here. I live all the way down in Morris and Pillington Pike. I make it to school every day, Monday through Friday. I even come on Saturdays. And Sundays, even if they have that. Because I'm involved with show choir, wrestling, boys volleyball, the human services classroom, and student council too. So I make sure I put everything in my schedule, even if I live far. So when I hear people make excuses, I can't make it to school, I'm like, you can't be serious. I drive 30 minutes every day to come to school and make it on time too. I don't have no tardies. And I'm like when people say I can't make it to school, I'm tardy every single day. I'm like, how? I'm doing it. You can do it.
Yes, ma'am.
You two are the most perfect people to have in our school.
Oh, well, thank you.
That
appreciate it.
understands the kids.
Yeah.
You know, you're not coming from way up here. You've lived it. You know what these kids are living.
Yeah.
And you can,
I was
work with them and teach them.
I was the first person in my family on my mom's side and my dad's side, out of aunts, uncles, cousins, to get a high school diploma.
You know what's funny?
Is it?
It's gonna be me too. By
So
May 27th.
it was, and a lot of my family went to Beech Grove. I won't mention any last names. We'll just keep it as it is.
was just thinking of that.
So, yeah, I identify with a lot of our kids here, which makes my job definitely easier. And I can also identify with a lot of our kids that, you know, education, getting your high school diploma is, like, it's step one. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
And it opens doors. And
They
so,
can look at you and see what the outcome is.
yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Proud of you.
Well, thanks.
I can honestly say this right now, like, I never had a cool principal, like, card. Like, I seriously, I'm not been trying to joke, like, I never had a cool principal like him. When I came to school that first year, I was like, oh, he about to be me, because every principal is just naturally me. And Card, like, one of my best friends now. Like, I'm seriously one of my best friends. Like, even though we got, like, I don't know, like a 30-year gap, but it's okay.
20, Jordan.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate your time, and we appreciate you guys.
When you hear these guys, hear what they have to say, I think it's the definition of worn and proud.
Yeah.
God bless you. We've got another guest with us, and I'd like for Richard to introduce our next guest.
A few years
Mr.
back.
Carr, Mr. Madry, thank you.
I'll be good, huh? A few years back, I had the opportunity, misfortune, whichever way you want to look at it, to meet Diana Hendricks through one of our teachers here at Beech Grove, Paige Anderson. And I got sort of roped into coming to one meeting a month, which turned out to be 5. But during the course of that, not only with Diana, I had the opportunity, the fortune of meeting Officer Spivey. And at that time, she was a police officer, still a police officer, but she was a police officer here in the high school. She's since moved over, I believe, to 9th Street. She's over at 9th Street now. And in my brief dealings with Officer Spivey and Diana, we just witnessed a very, very positive side of this school.
Yes.
But there's another side of this school, and that's the drug and alcohol program, and not just with the students, but with parents. I remember one night, I took a student home. The track meet was over. I was coaching them with my son. The track meet was over. They have a rule here. You do not touch the child in any way, shape, or form, and you do not put them in your vehicle. Well, it's getting dark. There's nobody there for her. So I says, get in the truck. So I went to her house. I said, you go get your mother and father. And she said, well, what do I have to do that for? I said, well, I want them to know why this 72-year-old grandpa got their 15-year-old daughter in the vehicle. No, that wasn't going to happen. That wasn't going to happen. We had another young man, they were twins. I can't recall what sports his sister was in, but we gave him a scholarship not long ago. Academic scholarship, by the way. And he's still on the board, on the track board, holding a record. And they didn't live at home. They lived with friends. So anyway, I got a call from Diana and said Officer Kelly would like to appear before the group here, and she has something she wishes to share with us. I think she's pushing yet another program. So with no further ado, Officer Kelly, you have the chair there.
Well, I'm a little interactive, is that okay, or do I?
Well, we want you to be recorded, if you don't mind. So
Okay.
just speak up, and you'll be
Okay,
fine.
I
Be
can
interactive.
speak loud.
Yeah, okay.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Tim, can you hear me? Okay. So, first of all, thank you so much for letting me come and speak. I have been a police officer for almost 23 years. I will celebrate my 20th year here in Beech Grove in July, and I have a daughter at the high school, so I'm invested in this community and I'm invested in this school system. Pre-COVID, Gleaner's Food Bank used to provide food for children in our schools that were identified by counselors, and some of you may know, that they need extra supplemental food on the weekend, okay? That might be parents are working, some situation in our schools the counselors identified. And all through Marion County, Gleaner's Food Bank would provide backsack food for children. At the time, we were giving out in our district 80 at South Grove, 35 at Hornet Park, and 35 at Central. They were providing 150 bags of food for us a week. COVID hit, and they stopped all that. They revamped their system. Now it goes to families. You have a lot of food banks now. The system is revamped. It has always weighed on my heart the entire time. What can we do? I transferred from the high school to South Grove, and now I'm with the little kids now. I'm with 4th through 6th grade. We're about 700 in our school. And the counselors were coming to me and asking me, what can we do? And I had already been, I can tell you, I was on the street for 19 years prior to coming in the school in January of 2018. I was totally exhausted working the road. It's a different type of patrol. Came in the schools, and I was mentally and emotionally drained seeing what our kids are going through. And as the years go on, they go through more and more. And it is just, I'm a very emotional person, and it really weighs on me every day. I am constantly asking people for donations for leggings, underwear, socks, girls' feminine items. Like these girls know I come to Hornet Park, I'll try to give donations. There's always something. We have teachers that do our kids' hair in the morning. We wash coats. We provide them stuff that it's mind-boggling. So it's really, really weighing on me. What can I do? I'm now at South Grove. What can I do? And I'm not supposed to talk politics and religion in uniform, but I'm a very faith-filled person. And one night I was like, you know what, God, what is it that I can do? And essentially, I have been going to every civic organization in Beech Grove. I have drafted now a business letter. I'm going to present it to every business in Beech Grove. And I wanted organizations to know what I'm seeing in Beech Grove schools with our Beech Grove kids. And we have little kids that need supplement food. So the end of October, I started meeting with the Eagles, the Moose, the Lions Club. I'm sorry, they're this week. The American Legion, and I've raised $5,500 so far. I was able to start backsacks. At the time, we had identified 32 children. Okay, I'm up to 60. And this is, if I have one at South Grove, we found out that they had a sibling at Central. And so you can't give one without the other. So I've had to cap it at 60 kids. Mind you, Gleaners was providing for 150. We probably have 3,200 kids in our district. Okay, now this is 6th grade or younger. So I'm going to guess your school, I know we're almost 650, 700. Hornet Park's how big?
We're about 500.
Yeah, Central's probably about 500. So there are kids I can add. It's just I had to cap it. I don't have any more money. What I wanted you to know is I know that in past you guys have helped with lunch accounts, but I wanted you to know what we're doing. As of November 1st, I was able to secure enough money that we started backsacks every week. Like I said, we started out at 32. It's now gained to 60. I have been able to keep donations coming in so that we can keep that level. I've had to cap it because, like you guys all know, inflation is horrible right now. And I figured the other day, because a business wanted to know, I have a list of items. It's very specific what we give. It has to be non-perishable, microwavable things, anywhere from a kindergartner to a 6th grader can make. So the list of what we give is very specific. We give about 13 to 14 items on a Friday night. That includes 2 snacks on Friday, 2 snacks on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. We provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Saturday, Sunday. It is averaging out to sponsor one child, $20 a month. That's $5 a week because of inflation right now. I'm sure 3 years ago that would have been $3. So my cost right now is about $1,200 a month. Like I said, I had to cap it at 60 kids because I don't have the resources. But I just wanted to come and let you know what's going on. We named it the Hornet Nutrition Club. At first, I kind of toyed around with pantry, and I was kind of told by somebody that maybe that's a negative connotation, and they didn't want the little kids to feel like they were getting a handout. But I can tell you the first couple of weeks we started doing this, I was in tears because these little kids were so excited and would hug us and tell us, thank you for girl, don't get me crying, I'll cry. These kids were so thankful that they were getting extra food. And like I said, I cannot control what happens at home with them. I can't. You know, we have situations where parents are just not around, they're drug abusers, they're working. I don't know, and I can't control that. But guess what I can control? I can control that they're going to have some snacks for the weekend. And, you know, I knew that when I got moved from the high school to here, I kept asking God, what's my purpose? And it's this. And I've been in law enforcement for 23 years. I will finish out this school year, and next school year is my last year. My daughter is going to be a senior. She graduates. I'm from Bedford. That's my hometown, and I'm moving home. So I am hoping that this can be sustained. My goal is, by the end of this year, that I can have enough money in reserves that I can, in the summer, on my work days, I can continue delivering that to kids who are on my list now. Because breaks in summer, kids panic. And if I can do that in the summer and keep it through June and July, that is my ultimate goal. And I know that will be taken care of. But that is my goal, that we can keep these kids sustained and fed, and you know that they have something. I helped a lot with the buses during COVID delivering food, and it was an eye opener. You know, I'm blessed with a good job. I go to the grocery store, and if I want something, I buy it. You know, I'm not a frivolous spender, but I don't look at prices. If I have a list, I get it and I go. And I don't know what it's like to not have something. And it was a real eye opener to me with these kiddos on some of the stuff that we provide. You know, we see it on a daily basis. And you know, I have gotten civic organizations to donate money. The Independent Nazarene Church right here on Hornet Avenue, they are absolutely amazing. They sponsored, they wanted to sponsor February, March, and April. They're going to take and they're going to buy it, bag it, and deliver it to me. And the girlfriend, I work security there, and they absolutely love this community, and they love our kids. And, you know, it's getting that step up just to say, you know, and I've had people listen, hey, I want to sponsor a kid for the month. I will not turn down a $20, you know. So I didn't hit the businesses up in Beech Grove prior to Christmas, because I know a lot of people hit up for sponsoring families. And that's another thing, you know, we got 76 families taken care of for Christmas. That's how many people reach out that need help. And it's mind-boggling. But they're taking over. Missy Keeley and Amy Parker are helping me at Hornet Park. There was actually an open room. So at first I was going down and buying, and we were bagging and delivering, and they kind of took over that for me, which is amazing. And they just said, like, you keep the financial part of it going, and you meet the people, and we'll do the legwork. And it's worked out amazing. We have an extra room over there. It's worked out perfect. But I just wanted to come and tell you what we're seeing and what's going on. And you know, if there's something that any of you individually would want to support, it goes into an account with South Grove. All the money goes through Mel Hamilton at South Grove Intermediate. I have a business letter I can leave you that explains who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. It breaks down like how much it is to sponsor a kid, how much it is to sponsor a kid for a month, the list of items that I use. So if you know of any organization that would want to take up a food donation, you know, those items, just let me know. I'll come pick it up. I'll come meet. If you have a church you want me to come talk to, the Independent Nazarene Church, I came on a Sunday, spoke in their congregation, and then that's when they're like, we want to sponsor 3 months. So I have every month sponsored except for August and September and October of the beginning of the school year, because what I'm hoping is, if you do it this year, you're gonna do it next year. And I don't have the summer months covered, but Diana and I are in the process of, she has a grant that came open, and it's for Beach Grove, and it just fell into our lap. And so, I'm hoping that can sustain me too, just to keep that money going. And that, if we can get that, then I will be good for summer. But I just wanted to come and tell you what's going on with our kiddos. So,
Thank you.
Where would you
Questions?
make a check to?
South Grove Intermediate School. The money's going to them, and then I filter out, they know that when we purchase, it's for 3 schools. The fund is gonna stay there. Since I'm there, we're just gonna keep, it's called the Hornet Nutrition Club.
So she could
that's
put,
what
they
I-
could put Hornet Nutrition Club in the memo on the check.
Yeah, so South Grove Intermediate School, and then you could put Hornet Nutrition Club, yes. And if, like I said, if you know a business that I can give a letter to, I can give you my contact information. I have an email, just like everybody else at the school, all the SROs do. It's K Spivey, so K Spivey at bgcs.k12.in.us. If you can't get through to me, call South Grove Intermediate. They'll transfer you to my voicemail.
What
My
was the very
office
last
is right
name?
in the office, so you can call South Grove Schools.
What was the very last name? The K-12-IN.
.in.us. So if you have an organization you'd like to give a letter to, if you have a church you'd like for me to go speak to, and I haven't contacted Servant's Heart, I haven't contacted Community Center, they get bombarded. They are feeding so many and providing so much that I kind of wanted to start little, but I'm planning on hitting every Beach Grove business on Main Street. And if I can get $10, that'll all add up. If they want to sponsor one child, I'm good with that. Like I said, because I want this to be sustainable every month, and it doesn't stop. Now, if Gleaners would come back and say, hey, we're going to take over that program again, I don't anticipate that happening. But if they would, then I'd be okay. But I can tell you that the nutrition we're giving in our bags, I feel like it's better than what Gleaners provided. And, these girls are amazing on how they have set up a system on rotating items and giving, nutritional stuff.
What do you give?
I'm sorry.
What do you give on a?
What do we give?
Like
So
what-
there's a list.
Okay.
It's all non-perishable.
Way to read it.
You can.
Breakfast, cereal, small boxes, Pop-Tarts, oatmeal packets, Nutri-Grain bars, cereal bars, Pop-Tart singles, bag, chewy yogurt bar, that's breakfast, lunch/dinner, Chef Boyardee bowls, Chef Boyardee cans, cups of chicken, cup of beef, mac and cheese, ramen, chicken noodle soup in can, rice-a-roni, cup of noodles, cheddar, SpaghettiOs, cup of soup, ramen cups, miscellaneous soups, white rice cups, roasted chicken dinners, Pop-Tart/microwavable, snacks, chip, Cheez-Its, goldfish, popcorn, cookies, raisin, craisins, fruit snacks, Rice Krispie treats, bread, ought to have Amy read this, she's a much better reader. Breadsticks with cheese, granola bars, fruit cups, applesauce, cheese crackers, pudding cups, Cheetos, graham crackers, Dunkaroos, fruit roll-ups, pretzels, Cliff bars, pudding cups, drinks, Sunny D, juice boxes, Capri Sun, water bottles, orange juice, apple juice.
Wow. Can you drop off stuff at Hornet Park?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Can you drop off food at Hornet Park for off that?
Yes, our pantry is there, we have a room, and those women are absolutely amazing organized. And essentially what we do is they make a list, we look at what we've had the week before. We try to give on that 2 salty snacks, 2 sweet snacks, and then the dinners and lunches, those kind of have to rotate the same because you can't find a lot of just microwavable containers. We try not to put a lot of cans in there because that gets heavy. But there's a lot of like cup soups and microwavable macaroni and cheese, stuff that the kids can make. But yeah, you can just let Missy Keeley know. We have a pantry there. We're not going to turn down absolutely anything because all that helps. And Sam's is very good. They're a little cheaper than Costco. And so those girls just actually order online and have it delivered. And yeah, and I'm in the process of trying to get a grant through them for them to give me X amount off for the year of 2023. So I have to follow up with that. But if I know there are others we could put on the list, but I had to tell them no right now. And I hate that. I absolutely hate it to say we're capped. I can't give any more. But yeah, so even if you want to bring in a box of fruit roll-ups to me or fruit snacks, absolutely, we'll take anything. Yes. So the food donations are just as important as the monetary. So, well, I won't keep you. I want to say I'm appreciative of your time, and if you have any questions, you can email me, call me at South Grove.
We will get this information out.
You can keep that. That's just
Get it out.
it's a business letter that, like I said, I hadn't hit any of the businesses yet. I kind of waited till after Christmas, But so absolutely, if you have any questions, get a hold of me.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for what you're doing. Richard, thank you.
Good. I'm going to tell a quick story on Officer Spiver.
Oh, gosh, no.
I'm going to a basketball game. I'm walking in with a sport coat. I immediately put my hands in the air and I put them up on the wall, spread my feet. And she's training a new officer, and the new officer says, "Are we supposed to do that to everybody that's wearing a sport coat?" You had your chance and you blew it. You know that.
Listen, we just got new tasers.
And they need to dump it.
I'm gonna tell you what,
Sure.
can we use a taser instead of a gavel?
I'm absolutely certain people would donate to see you get.
I'll give you 10 days. Here's 20 right now. Here's 20.
Thank you, good job. Okay. We've got some more business to take care of. And we really appreciate our special guest tonight. Thank you so much. Let's get an update regarding our operating fund and the scholarship fund. Marlia or Kathy?
Okay, the operating fund, our balance as of our last meeting, which was October, was $11,286.88. We've had $152 deposit. Our expenses since then is $699.27. Our ending balance is $10,739.61.
Say that again, that number.
$10,739.61.
Okay. Marlia, scholarship fund?
The scholarship
Thanks,
fund, the
Kathy.
balance on October 18th, 2022 was $57,765. We've given our scholarship winners their checks for this semester, which was $14,000, leaving us a balance today on January 17th, 2023 of $43,765.
Thank you, Marlia. $43,765. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Some committee reports. Since we just heard about the scholarship fund, I'm going to go to bullet point number 2 for the student scholarship updates. Kay, could you give us an update there, please?
Okay, I talked to all of our scholarship winners. They're all going back for their second semester. We should be very proud of our young people. A couple of them were on the dean's list. A lot of them had A's and B's, and they all are happy in college. And they're winning their second check, and Marlia sent it out to them. So I can't say more. I thank you so much for helping getting the money in and helping us take care of our young scholars. And they all said thank you again. So,
Thank you, Kay. Thank you and also the committee that you have. Can you talk a little bit about future scholars and where we're at with the application process?
I've talked to the school, and we're getting more help getting the applications out for next year. And of course, it's for vocational and college, so we've got a lot more people to work with now at school to get this message to them.
Very good. That's good news. The administration does seem to want to help.
Yes,
and,
they are now.
We're grateful. Thank you. How about Cookie, the annual newsletter?
We're pretty much on schedule. I've been in touch with Kelly at Southsider Voice, and she will do the design again as usual. Samantha will not be doing the printing this year, good heavens, what she was put through last year with the breakdown of the machine and such. I've been in touch with Crystal Graphics and Rich, and who's the head of that, and has given us a price that I believe is pretty close to what was last year, and I didn't get the opportunity to get with you on that. For the 6,300 newsletters, of which we have about 5,900 plus that we send out. And then we always have some extra so that we can get those to the schools and such. Can you all hear me back there? And I don't know.
Not a word. Stand up, Cookie, come on. Give it to her.
We're on schedule.
We need to know.
Tom gave me the number of what we've got to put out again this year, somewhere right in that range of 5,900. I have ordered 6,300. With your permission, I'll do that. We are ordering them again from Crystal Graphics because they had been referred by Beech Grove High School for us when their machinery broke down and we weren't able to use the high school last year. It was one of the smoothest mailings in the long run, and we felt like the money that we put into that was well worth it. Teacher and Alumnus of the Year will be selected within the next week, and I've been in touch with several members of our committee. Marlia has provided me with all of the donations for the past year. Her report is always right on. I never have to worry about that at all. Judy Hensley has agreed to handle the silent auction again this year. Bob Thomas has, we've talked, and he has approved what we're doing with the golf tournament information. We've received just a few of the class messages. And with that note, I did want to point out and everything, I've been in touch with Janice Wampner. She is class of 57. She's also that decade chair. She took a bad fall last week and broke her collarbone in 3 places. So I told her I would give her a couple of days on, of all things, her doctor's saying Tylenol extra strength. And he will not be seeing her for almost 6 weeks, which is beyond what I can see why. But I will call her and we will come up with a class message. Do I have any decade chairs here tonight?
Pardon? Donna.
Decade chair.
Decade chair. Okay. Donna, get on your decade. I know I've got class reps here, so throw your hand up. So get to her guilt.
Got one behind you.
Good. You said
We're all
you bring
behind you,
yours
right?
tonight. Kate has already sent hers. Do I have yours?
Really?
Bet you don't get out the door without me saying something. 73, the class of 73, I think they're so worried that they're going to be forgotten that I've had the message sent 3 different times. So they definitely will be in there. Reservation page info will be updated. That's going to be a big conversation tonight. That whole page is a completely different change. I'm working on getting more pictures because my mentor, Kelly, says that people are happier to see pictures than they are to see words. We did put a few extra pictures in last year, and we will try again this year. If anyone has a picture of the pumpkin patch, I would love to have that. Okay. We also will be acknowledging the fact that we won our first basketball state championship ever. I requested a list of the newly retired teachers in the past year, simply because I felt like it was something of interest that some of our younger ones that will be getting the newsletter would be very interested in. Most of us old-timers won't recognize these unless we recognize them as having been someone we went to school with or a student. On the unsung heroes, and it's something I've done for years on the front page, and I still would like to have some input on that. It can be something like, George's there for a drop of a hat. I can call him and say, I can't get the banners up, and he said, I'll do it. And he'd get them back down. Richard has taken care of the banners this year for me. I called Donna over and over, drop a moment. And I called Tom over and over, drop a moment. I get answers very quickly from all of them. Those are some of the unsung heroes. Judy, even though she's hobbling around everything, has agreed to still take on doing the silent auction. Those are the people that most of the alumni do not know put that much work in it. I can't begin to say enough about Bob Thomas. All I can say is that I believe when it was turned over to him almost 15 years ago, we were down to 12 players and ready to give it up. He stepped up, and last year was a record, over $17,000 and 144 players. I think he had to almost look for another golf course to send a few over there and have a few here, because it was just absolutely overwhelming. And we appreciate all that help. John, he's one of those really silent ones. He's brought a touch of class to our dinners and to every event he comes to. And it's fun to watch him just sit there in all of his black and orange. And everybody says, wow, he looks great. And you do, John. And we appreciate you putting your Hornet pride out.
Thank you.
I just really hope everybody knows I've got to get all of this in, so if you have something you want to put in, please let me know. I will try to juggle things around and get it in. I've got a deadline the end of this month. I'll be working hand in hand with Kelly until the middle of the month. Then I'll be working with Rick down in the graphics. We are not going to be slave drivers to bunch of work this year, but we will be putting those labels on, which has always been the fun thing. So don't forget that come mid-March, we'll be putting the labels on. I think that's everything.
Cookie, you're one of those unsung heroes too. Thank you. Will we have a mailing party like what we?
Yes.
When is that at the March meeting?
It is at the March meeting.
March 21st.
It is always called the mailing party.
Okay.
Somebody's going to have to make some of the candy that Janice has always made for us, because I know she's not going to be up to it. Plus, it is a problem. Some of the ones that still like to work on this cannot do that when it's darker. So we may go ahead and make it a little earlier in the day, just to get some of them to come for a little while then, and then the rest of you come a little later.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Cookie kind of alluded to this with regard to the banquet, and this is last on the agenda as far as what is printed. There's some other time that we're going to get into other things after this. But when we met in October, we did agree that based upon pricing and all of the things necessary to host the banquet, that we would move it to on Main Street there by O'Gara's. And that has been a challenge, getting caterer that could handle that. They are not set up with any kind of a prep room to stage meals for the number of people that we're going into. And so therefore also, and I just learned this today, they don't have us down as for that evening anyway. So I come to you with a couple of ideas and their options. And quite honestly, I think they're pretty good. So I'm not ashamed to bring them up. If they were bad, I'd just bring them up. Option one is to move it to Friday night, June the 9th, and have it at Primo. I've talked with Mary Ann Sullivan, and that is available, and she would be glad to have us. That certainly satisfies the parking process. It also satisfies the process that we know because they know us and we've been there before. Last night I spoke with Superintendent Hammock, and the idea came to me actually back in November, having no idea that this would happen. But I thought at some point, on November the 17th, when they had the community meal, Thanksgiving for this entire community, and hundreds of people were coming into the cafeteria here. The cafeteria is beautiful. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to someday have a Beech Grove Alumni Association banquet at the high school cafeteria? And I asked Dr. Hammock if that would be possible. She said, absolutely. We would love to do that, and we would love to have you work with our caterer who would do a special meal. And I said, well, we'll get back to you. And so tonight, before we all gathered, I had a chance to talk with Mr. Carr to apologize to him for going around him, to his boss. But I wanted to make sure he would be on board with that as well. And he said, man, that would be so good. We would love to have you guys come on that Saturday evening, June the 10th, for the banquet. So I lay that out for you. There was a third option that we considered, and that would be taking it to the next weekend. But I talked with Mary Ann Sullivan at Primo, and that's not possible. They don't have that, so that's not a third option. We've got two options at this point. And I'd like to hear your thoughts. We gotta do something. We gotta eat. The commercial. Okay?
So Garris is completely out no matter what.
It is. Thank you for clearing that up.
Parking would be the problem.
No, there was other problems.
Yeah.
But I mean, now, I don't know if all of you've been there, but when they first opened up, Andy and his wife, Sarah.
And we love them.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to explain something, though. They had a party, had almost 350 guests, and it was catered, and they did a fine job. I mean, it was open, it was kind of a soft opening, but it was still open
Sure.
to racing fans and everything else. But their biggest problem was parking more than anything else. Does Dennis want to shut down Main Street and make them detour around Churchman or Troy Avenue, and we'll just close Main Street down and let's park?
Yeah. We've had this conversation about parking back in October and actually in September too. And we pretty well resolved that to a certain degree. Not necessarily a great solution, I don't think, but we did discuss it. But the issue now is it's not available anymore because the caterers that we've talked to, none of them would get back to us. And, quite honestly, the caterers around the restaurants in Beech Grove, and really wanted to utilize caterers in Beech Grove, restaurants, they're set up for table service and waitresses, but they're not set up to cater and do big meals like this. And quite honestly, as far as getting help these days, how many times have you gone to a restaurant and the door says, hey, be patient with us, we're short of help, or they're closed after 6 o'clock. So anyway, we've got two options, and I think both of them would work very well. I think it's something that we can be proud of, and I'd like to hear from Janice.
I've got another idea. Fifth Avenue on Main has a tent outside all year long, and they serve food.
We actually talked with Fifth Avenue,
Oh, you did?
Janice, and that's not going to work.
And he wasn't interested?
I like the idea of the school. The problem has been alcohol in the past, which is not a problem for me. And we might even get some people that we don't usually get because of that, to go to the school.
There would be no alcohol. And my opinion on that is we might get people that would normally not come just because of not necessarily because of alcohol, but because it's an opportunity to get into their old school and see it. Okay.
And
Also, if we had it at the school, would the cost be way down?
The cost would likely be much less.
Yeah.
If we were to go that route, I would now proceed to talk about those kinds of things with the school administration. And I'll be the one doing the conversations.
If we had it at the high school, could we incorporate a tour of the school during that time?
We can, and that's one of the things that Mr. Carr told me tonight. He said, I'd love to be able to give tours for the school, to the school. Kathy?
What kind of menus would the school have?
Pretty much anything we would want.
Really?
The catering
Yeah,
It's not,
School
it wouldn't be school food.
catering service is very good.
George?
No, I was gonna say, I've talked to several people around here that had, come to it. And they're, like he was saying, their kitchen's phenomenal. There's nothing here they cannot make.
Right.
And not just in small amounts, but it's like a commercial kitchen. I mean,
The Thanksgiving dinner that they provided on November the 17th was phenomenal. And people loved it.
What is the seating like? I don't know, I remember what it was like in high school.
It's
where
not
you had
like
the
that.
long
No, that's what, it's
they'll go through the line with a
Chairs.
tray.
tables and chairs.
tables and chairs.
Yeah, tables and chairs.
Some tall, some short.
Some tall, some short. We would have the ability to make some adjustments.
We could probably rent tables if we needed.
If we needed to.
Exactly.
I'm not a drinker, so
I think the high school's a good idea. Yeah, parking, no problem with parking.
Bob,
This be a buffet or sit-down dinner?
don't know.
Okay.
It's a good question.
Buffet or sit-down dinner?
David?
George?
I think, let's just go ahead and introduce that and see about doing the school.
I think it's a good idea.
What's everybody think? You want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we follow up and just proceed and make arrangements to have it here at the school.
We have a second?
I second.
Donna seconds. All those in favor? All those opposed? Ayes have it. That's the way we'll move. Questions?
Please keep in mind, I got a deadline on a newsletter. We can't be pushing the newsletter way out. So we need to have some type of a committee that will get on this immediately so that we can make our reservation page up and.
He already said
It will
Your
have to
committee's
be-
here. I'm going to take
He's
care
the
of it.
committee.
Okay? I'm telling you what, if you want to get something done, you got to get it done.
It has
And I
to
will
be a
get that
right,
done
huh?
for you. Okay?
Do it the right way. Good on words.
Pardon me?
That was good on words, the right way.
I just think for one night, everybody can not have a drink.
There you go.
Well,
I'm sure
and make a
Mr.
plan to
Ryan-
go to O'Gara's afterwards.
Exactly, I just wanted to
Or
say.
or
Or go
Fifth
somewhere,
Street.
But it would, how cool it would be to bring
Bring a big purse.
older, young,
Happy's had that experience.
You did that in high school.
Dave?
With a very small person.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Another unsung hero. Thank you. Okay, thanks, everybody. I appreciate your input. Thank you so much.
the older, young, and take a tour through the schools.
John, we're going to turn this over. We got future meetings, February 21st and March 21st. Tom, thank you for catching my original error. I sent that out. I was thinking the second Tuesday of the month, so I would have been real early in February.
We could have a sock hop.
Oh, there you go.
That's what we used to do.
You still got your poodle skirt probably.
Okay, we're going to move on.
I still got my senior cords. I can't wear 'em.
John has an open, he's got an item that he'd like to share. Want to come up? Do that?
Yeah, I think I do.
And as he's doing that, I know what he's going to talk about. I don't want to steal his thunder. So I apologize if I do. One of the things that I talked with Principal Carr about on Friday was the need to honor O.L. Van Horn in the hearts of a lot of people. And when we were talking about the alumni, the Hall of Fame, I said it would be great if there's some way we could incorporate honoring O.L. Van Horn. And I then shared with him how the Hornets got their name. And in 1931, O.L. Van Horn was the young coach of the Beech Grove Yellow Jackets. And they won the only Marion County basketball championship we've ever won. And the school board wanted to honor their young coach. And they said, why don't we call them the Van Hornets? And then somebody said, why don't we call them the Hornets?
There you go.
And that's because of O.L. Van Horn. And he was such a humble guy, he didn't want to talk about it. His family didn't even know about it until 1980. And somebody shared that with him. I knew about it because my brother used to be married to a lady whose father was one of the stars of that 1931 team. And Mr. Mitchell told Lloyd and I that story about Mr. Van Horn. John?
David, fellow alumni, 91 years ago, in 1932, the Yellow Jackets of tiny little Beech Grove High School became the giant killer by beating the Ben Davis Giants to win the Marion County tournament, and a place in Indiana high school basketball history. Leading that historic team was a young man that was about to make his mark on the lives of so many of us here tonight, O.L. Van Horn. At that time, and as a sign of appreciation for that victory, the mascot was changed from the Yellow Jackets to the Hornets, as Mr. Van Horn dedicated his life to the community and the school system of Beech Grove. In those early days of Beech Grove High School football, the games were played at Sarah Bolton Park, where the baseball field is now. But in 1944, Mr. Van Horn, along with his fellow teacher, Mr. Huber Nichols, transformed the 13th Street Victory Garden to an official football field. And Beech Grove began playing football at this location in 1945. It is for this reason that I come before the Alumni Association to ask that we as a group consider honoring Mr. Van Horn for this dedication and leadership as he served 4 decades of service to the community and to the school system. First as a basketball coach, then as a teacher, principal, and superintendent. I propose we rededicate and rename the 13th Street Athletic Field to become known as the O.L. Van Horn Athletic Field, a lasting monument to this lifetime of service. The youth of today at Beech Grove High School have no idea about O.L. or the stories of what he did and what he accomplished. I have an essay that's written by his daughter, Carol. And I will have copies of that for you all next meeting. But it spells out a lot of the emotions that she has for her dad. And I would really like to see this association spearhead this idea and let it move forward with the idea that the dedication could possibly be held during the Fall Festival in 23. I also feel like a portrait of Mr. Van Horn for the high school lobby would be an excellent tribute from this association.
Yeah.
That's my proposal.
And
Thank
you. Is that owned by the city?
Yes, no,
No,
school.
The school does own that? Okay, thank you.
That's on your committee.
Thank you. Great.
Yeah, he's gonna do that as well.
We'll work on that. I'll get the president of the school board, and we'll be a committee.
Okay.
And we'll get a couple of others too. We'll set something up.
Good job, John.
Okay, open agenda. just started with John. John, good job, thank you. By the way, when I shared that story with Principal Carr and Mr. Williams and Mr. Harris, their mouths dropped. They had no idea where the name Hornet came from, and most people don't. It's a great story, and it deserves to be told.
Great story.
Any others? For the good of the order? By golly. Looking for a motion to
I make a
adjourn.
motion that we adjourn.
George, glad you showed up.
Hey,
And Donna, glad you showed up too. We got a first motion to adjourn, a second by Donna. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, stick around.
help clean up.
I gave him a copy of my speech.